Welcome to another day of Ether Raids. We are taking on another tree man. It's been really annoying. It's like running into gatekeeper after gatekeeper. And gatekeeper was really annoying because a lot of my strategies these days have some type of warping component tied into them. So just trying to get up and attacking into the enemy team has been pretty annoying because of Ather. So Barricade, to be specific, Barricade has been more annoying than the unit himself. So I don't know, take that for what you will. So yeah, outside of that, I haven't this is probably the first season where I'll probably only play one match of SD because this map is actually booty. Well, let me be a little bit more specific with my critique. The map is not that bad. The spawn positions are horrendous. They're too far apart, as well as just too far from the center in general. Particularly the top right and the bottom left. Those two spawn points needed to be a little bit closer to the middle. And if that were the case, it would be a lot easier to actually put together openings for this particular map that's currently in rotation for SD. But because it's designed the way that it is so hard to build an opening for this map in specific without leaving someone exposed, because you can top left or bottom right reposition right over that trench, or straight up go across it if you have terrain ignored, and then just be right in your opponent's face, and that is not ideal for a map design. You really don't want that on turn one. That much dominance of your opponents, the opposing team, or to have your opponent dominate you in that way on turn one is not okay from a map design perspective. So really, those two spots, top right and bottom left, needed to be closer to the middle for the map to actually be usable, and not usable, but playable. I mean, you can still play it, but it's just super annoying to deal with, and that was really just the main problem. It was really annoying. So I don't know if I'm going to play more than one match. I probably will. I'm probably just saying that, but I mean, let's see how it goes. So far, it's been really difficult to, as I said, just put teams. Not even. Is it the opening or is it the teams? I'm not sure. I think one contributes to the other. Because it's so difficult to make an opening, it makes it a lot harder to figure out what type of team compositions I want to go with for this map. And also the fact that nukes are if you're not running melee nukes, you're not getting through anything. So, there's that component of it as well. And then, one thing that I did want to bring up is that this new Ather, kinda nuts, kinda. Although I do think he'll fall off pretty quickly, just in terms of damage output. I don't think he'll last very long when it comes to that. But for right now, I think for the next 2 months or so, he should be pretty good. I'm still not very high on him. Initially, I was a lot lower in terms of my expectations of this Christmas Ather. But bringing him into SD and just run into matches, I was like, oh, he's really actually super tanky. So I don't know. We'll see where that goes. Even though this map, I'm not particularly interested in the slow gameplay on this map, because it's just not the most. It doesn't really, for slow gameplay. I don't know. It's not the greatest. But yeah, Ather, a lot better than my initial expectations, although I still don't think he's that great. It's an interesting power bump for the new book, but then again, this is a seasonal unit, so it's to be expected, I guess. So he'll have some amount of use case for, as I said, the next 2 months or so. But that's about it, man. For that Ather. Really, one of the main things that's really the no follow-up. The fact that he doesn't have any no follow-up is a really big annoyance. There are ways to get it on there, but it just feels like that's the one thing that's missing from the kit. And it would have just been nice if it was just in the weapon or something in exchange for one of the other things that are there. But gotta play one more match. GG's. Okay, here's the second match of the day. We are taking on a Azura here. Gonna be interesting to see what this Azura's Refine will be like. Probably gonna be combat oriented. It's really gonna be dependent on what they do with Sigurd, Duo Sigurd. I don't think they've gotten their Refine yet, if I'm not mistaken, Duo Sigurd. But yeah, very interested to see what they'll do with this Harmonic Azura when that time comes. Well, it's probably gonna be years from now, but I'm thinking combat potential is probably what they'll do. I think this Azura is pretty frail in terms of taking damage. That's one of the main reasons I just couldn't be bothered to use them. Whereas Sigurd, he's pretty bulky, so I think Sigurd will also get a combat refine, but he should do a lot better with that combat refine because of the stat distribution in general. But yeah, what else? I think I had some more thoughts about SD. I was just putting together a couple of maps, and I was teams, and I was watching, just some of the streams, just seeing what people were doing, because I only played the one match and I got the win on the first one. So I was like, all right, cool, I can just kick back and relax. Maybe I'll play the rest of them on Sunday and see where that goes. I'm not like super bothered by it. I was almost tempted. I was almost going to just give away the rest of the wins, all 4 of them. But I don't know. I think I'll give it a shot. I'm a little bit tired also this week. I don't know. I've been feeling pretty tired lately, so I was gonna just take the time off to sleep instead of playing SD. But I don't know. Let's see where that factors in. And yeah, from what I've been seeing, it's a lot of tanks, a lot of what's her name? Loki. Really good on this map. She was the last time around that this map was in rotation. She was really good with Heavy Burden, I think was the Captain Seal, and she is equally as good now.
I see.
I'm trying to figure out why my stats are like less than this Felix here, the enemy Felix, when we both have the same amount of merges and probably just one in terms of Dragon Flowers.
I'll handle it.
He has 61 speed where I only have 58. And it's confusing. This is also +1. I'm +1. I don't understand why his speed is so high.
What now?
Yeah, that's a little bit weird. What's that? And I also have the essence thing, so that's just an additional stat in my favor. So don't know what's going on there, but that is quite peculiar.
Who's next?
And even if it was summoner supported, it would only be 2 more than what I have. So, and you can't really summoner support on defense. It doesn't work. So, I don't know. That's kind of weird.
What now?
But, yeah, we should be able to clear this anyway. But yeah, back to what I was saying about the teams. So Loki, I've seen a lot of Thor, of course. It's so crazy that Thor is holding up. It's like, how many? 3 years? I feel like she is kind of in line with Katria when it comes to being dominant in a particular game mode. Even though Katria still has the longest reign, I feel like, but Thor is up there, man. She is still holding ground to this point, even in this day and age, because of all the things that she does. It's really, really interesting to see her, like, people still get away with using her. I've never been like particularly high. Maybe it's a skill issue, maybe it's just a playstyle issue. I don't really find a way to fit her into my teams. but she's still good on this map. And then there's Bajaji because of the Beefcakes because of the gravity thing. And then also, if you're looking for gravity, there's also that Valentine's Valentine's Leo, who offers something similar as well. And then there's also the end turn from the Baby Golveg and Leon. That's also a thing. You can do that, especially on turn 1 if you line it up properly. Because it's depending on where your firm Kanto Stomp unit is, you might not be able to avoid that particular play. So that is also something that can happen. So those units have been pretty dominant. And then of course Sigurd,
I'll handle it.
Still doing his damnedest. I've not seen a lot of Felix. Felix is actually for this map, well, not necessarily. I think Barricade, kind of the same thing that happened to me in the first match for this video, because Barricade has gotten so common, which I'm just surprised. A lot of people pull for Ather, not necessarily for the unit himself, but for Barricade, it seems. And yeah, it's actually just gonna be everywhere. And one of the main ways to use Felix was Summit the Ring and to just warp in. And yeah, it makes it so that everyone can have Gatekeeper without actually needing to have Gatekeeper. And the biggest problem about running Gatekeeper was the fact that he was Gatekeeper and he had no combat really. So yeah, there's a warp bubble pretty much everywhere now. On pretty much every team you can have some type of warp bubble, whereas before you only needed to look out for Gatekeeper, Myr, and that's pretty much it, if I'm not mistaken. But now it's a lot more difficult to tell whether or not the opponent will have some type of warp inhibitor on their team, and it's making it a lot more difficult to use Felix to his maximum potential. So I don't know, he's probably going to start falling off, I feel like, or you can still get around it with the extra movement and the fact that he has that extra action. That still works out in your favor. But Barricade, man, it really shuts down a lot of the warp shenanigans that we've become so accustomed to. So I don't know if pass is going to become a thing now. Feels like if they're going to release a pass seal or a pass attune skill, now would be the optimal time, since they've just given Barricade to everyone. Now would probably be the right time to do it. Not that, and also the fact that there aren't really that many units that could take great advantage of it. Currently, not a lot of units would really want to run a pass attune skill or a pass seal. So yeah, I think it would be perfect for this current meta. But then again, we might get a broken unit that actually does very, very well with it in a couple of weeks. So, and also, the emblem unit is coming up, so let's see what that does. Interestingly, this is going to be 5 emblem units, so 1 for every team, every unit on your team for SD. But that's it, man. GG's.